this morning, schools, business premises in River State to reopen after state public holiday. President-elect Bola Tinubu to continue project commissioning in River State. APC yet to zone National Assembly leadership. Families of victims of election violence in River State set burial dates. Federal government approves national blockchain policy for Nigeria. First batch of Nigerians fleeing conflict-torn Sudan finally arrive in Abuja. On the foreign scene, police investigate motive of teenager behind fatal Serbian school shooting. I am Kala Dakarubatuo. Good morning. Remember, peace is the path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. Schools and business premises in River State will reopen this morning after they were closed yesterday for the public holiday declared by Governor Wike for the state visit of the President-elect Bola Tinubu yesterday. The President-elect is to commission the newly built Magistrate Court Complex in Port Harcourt today as he wraps up his two-day visit to River State. Yesterday, he commissioned the Rumokuta-Rumola flyover in Obiakpo local government area. The flyover, which is the 12th one built by the Wike administration, was flagged off on August 18, 2022 by former Cross River State Governor Donald Duke. Speaking during the commissioning, the President-elect thanked Governor Nyesom Wike for promoting unity, fairness and championing justice for power to return to the South.
If you talk of character, you can very well say, Your Excellency, Governor Nyesom Wike, you are very dependable. It is an honor and privilege to be in your midst today. I am a very happy man. Happy because I went through a gruesome campaign, fought hard, did myself, supported by many of you, and I won fair and square. I say thank you for your contribution to my victory. I couldn't have done it without some structural support. In His Excellency, I see a man of principle. He took a principled stand that the presidency must return to South.
The President-elect also acknowledged the public holiday declared by the governor in his honor.
It is a great honor for me. I see all the preparation, the declaration of a public holiday, the banners on poles, the signs all over. I am a very happy man.
On an earlier request by Governor Wike for the incoming administration to refund River State the money used in constructing some federal roads, the President-elect said he owes the state nothing.
The 12th flyover and the demand you made for refunds, I owe you nothing. It's your road. You can talk to me and make a demand. You are the one living on this road. I commend your effort. You have to lobby me to collect.
Earlier, Governor Wike said the refund would encourage other governors to embark on the rehabilitation of federal roads.
I also believe federal government should say, look, you've done well for us. These are projects we should be doing. Can you bring your deal? Let us refund you the money you have done this road. That is what it's supposed to be, with a partnership with a good federal government. I can assure you, as you enter office and you approve to pay this money back, other states will have the courage to also do the same thing.
Our correspondent reports that the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, as well as the governors of Jigawa, Oyo, Ebonyi, Kwara, and Imo, amongst others, accompany Mr. Tinubu to the state. In another development, the All Progressives Congress, APC, says it is yet to zone the positions of the principal officers of the National Assembly since it has yet to meet the President-elect Bola Tinubu. It also revealed that it is embarking on persuasive means of reaching some level of consensus on the next leadership of the 10th National Assembly. The national chairman of the party, Abdullahi Adamu, stated this while briefing newsmen at the party's national secretariat in Abuja shortly after a meeting of his National Working Committee on Wednesday. Senator Adamu maintained that it is important they meet with the president-elect before a decision is reached on the matter.
When we do the zoning meeting, and we don't just go alone as a party, the zoning is to take along the person who has the mandate of this country. President-elect, the Senator Ahmed Bola Tinubu, we have to take him along. He traveled after the elections and he came back only last week. And we must carry him along. And we cannot stop those who are ambitious or zonal interests or even individual interests, institutional interests. We cannot deny them. For as long as that is there, we have to find a way, persuasive manner of getting some level of consensus. And that's what we are working on. It's not a one-day affair.
Also speaking, the party's National Publicity Secretary, Felix Moka, said the meeting also looked at some internal matters. Recall that the party's National Vice Chairman in the Northwest, Salihu Lukman, had dragged the National Chairman and the National Secretary to court over an alleged breach of the Constitution. Mr. Lukman is asking the court to compel the Adamu-led National Working Committee to convene meetings of the party's statutory organs and render a financial account. Mr. Moka said the NWC had set up a committee to look into Mr. Salihu's concerns and find a subtle way of settling them.
A committee that was set up to complete that conversation is, in progress right now to fully ramify that discussion and offer final recommendations on that subject. But I'm happy to report that the party stands completely united behind the leadership of His Excellency, the National Chairman of our party. And we are all standing together. Our colleague who has concerns, those concerns are being looked into. And I think that in due course, we'll have reason to explain the very specific conclusions of those discussions.
Moving on. Police say those arrested during the raid on waterfront in Mile 1 Due, Port Harcourt on Monday are still being interrogated. Spokesperson of the River State Police Command, Grace Ringe Koko, tells correspondent Meka Otuka that anyone found culpable will be arraigned in court at the end of the investigation. She, however, did not disclose the number of persons that were arrested during the operation. Initial reports put the figure at 55. The raid comes days after the warring coal groups in Job reportedly agreed to a peace deal in a Cold War that has claimed several lives. Meanwhile, the commander of the Job vigilante, Amatari Bipilade, says the raid was a joint operation between police and members of the Job vigilante. He said it was carried out to rid the area of criminal elements.
In a joint operation between the Job vigilante and the police, precisely the tactical teams, which is the Octopus Strike Force, the Anti-Kidnapping Unit, the Anti-Cultism Unit, and Operations Think. We stormed the Eleshi Waterfront back of Coca-Cola and the Eleshi Waterfront back of Bahama Mortuary and Ogo Waterfront. That was on Monday 6 a.m. We raided this place because this place is, like we said earlier before now, it is an hideout and is giving coverage to criminals, and the residents of the area are not even helping matters to give useful information to security agencies where these criminals can be brought to, where these arms are being hidden.
Some residents of Diob also spoke of the raid.
Business have come back to the normal situation. They just came early morning to pick. They didn't pick the raid, they just pick innocent ones. People that don't know about the crisis, they come to the house and pick them. They say now to bail them is 150,000.
Police came and arrest so many of them. But I believe so many of them are innocent. Like Nigeria police, they don't normally go to the direct place to get something.
Police came that Monday early morning to arrest people. While that some of these bad boys. One of the men that went and collected the money and phone is one of the senior police officers about ASP or BTSP. So for that, now police sent for the raiding of that phone to come and that's the truth of the matter.
The residents told our correspondent that relative peace has returned to the area after the peace deal between the warring cult groups.
You can see people moving, you can see people now, but no, when there's fracas, people will not come the way you see them.
Get them, arrest, force them into vehicle, just like that.
Why is the area like now?
The area now is calm. It's calm. I think there is peace now. There is peace. Because I understand that maybe they are seniors. Because there are two courts are fighting. Their senior came and made peace with them. Since then, they have stopped shooting. If not, if you cannot even step into this place there, it's a real war front. See, I've never seen such a thing like that before.
The area is very fun, very peaceful, but we are still sleeping with one eye open, one eye closed because we are hearing side talk that they will come back again.
In another development, families of those killed during the March 18 governorship election in River State are still calling for justice. As you may know, at least 5 people were reportedly killed during the election in Auda West local government area. One of them, a campaign director for one of the political parties, Chisom Leonard, was found dead hours after his abduction. His relative, Tabele Felix, tells correspondent Soibio Ruwari that authorities have not reached out to the family for a possible investigation ever since. He said the late Chisom Leonard will be buried this month.
The weather will be on August. Nobody has come back. There is a day we go to local government. The chairman of Aoda said that he will support for the burial. Since then, he told us that we should let him know in time so that him himself can prepare himself. So since then, we have never seen anything yet. He later said that he should the wife name for the local government. Since then, we have never seen anything and so that they can find money for him. Since then, we nothing show. For him, never invited us to.
Mr. Felix also said he's been facing threats since the death of his relative.
It happened. Nobody has ever come to me or to the family. I'm in village. Nobody has ever come. We were worried of burying him because we don't have enough due to the mortuary bill that we cannot read high on me. Both the state to both the local government to both the federal. Nobody has come. The police has not invited me or nada anything. Nobody has ever come for invasion or anything or to ask how did your brother die. Nobody has ever come.
On his part, Odinaka Godspar, the brother of another victim of election violence in Awuda West LGA, Esau Godspar, said the family has not received any form of response from security agencies. Mr. Odinaka said his brother will be buried alongside their mother in August.
I'm even afraid of my life now, like what is happening in my place. I'm even afraid of my life. Sometimes I don't even sleep in the house. Sometimes because of the problem, what happens? Sometimes I don't know what to say, okay? Even right now, sometimes I cannot even sleep in the house. Sometimes I cannot even stay in the village. Yes, something from here and there. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I have nobody. I have nobody. I have nobody. What would I meet? What would I turn? I kept it on the 6th of May. That is the burial day.
The federal government has approved the national blockchain policy for Nigeria. The decision was taken on Wednesday at the Federal Executive Council in Abuja. Announcing this to State House correspondent, Minister of Communication and Digital Economy Isa Pantami said it involved consultation with stakeholders. He said that with the approval of the national blockchain policy for Nigeria, blockchain technology with all its components and types has been institutionalized in the country. Mr. Pantami further said the council directed regulatory bodies to liaise with the National Information Technology Development Agency to ensure that they come up with regulatory instruments in all sectors of the economy and security. The minister explained that blockchain technology is relevant to so many sectors in banking, security, education, commerce, and many others. Still ahead, first batch of Nigerians fleeing conflict-torn Sudan finally arrive at Abuja. Stay tuned as we go for a quick commercial break.
You are tuned in to
Nigeria Info. We'll be right back after this.
Thank you for staying tuned. Welcome back now to the rest of the news. The Council of Chiefs and Elders in Elekpokwodu community of Rukpoko clan has described as baseless the statement credited to Ruma Olu people that Elekpokwodu is preempting the decision of the River State Surveyor General in the disputed land case between both Obiakpo communities. Dr. Imekele Odu, who spoke on behalf of the Elekpokwodu chief, said they are rather demanding that the State Surveyor General comply with the directive of the Inspector General of Police by sharing the disputed land according to the 1961 Supreme Court judgment. Dr. Odo also said the Elekpokwodu people will not compromise their portion of the disputed land while calling for the right thing to be done on the matter. Nigerian evacuees from Sudan received 100,000 naira each on arrival in Nigeria last night. Minister of Humanitarian Affairs Sadiya Farouk made this known at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja this morning. He said 25,000 worth of recharge cards and 1.5 gigabytes of data were also given to them. The minister said the cash and other gifts given to the returnees were done to make them comfortable as they return to the country. The returnees arrived in the country around 11:35 p.m. on Wednesday. More are still expected in the country.
And now we bring you news from around the world.
Police say a teenager who killed 8 fellow students and a security guard in a Serbian school planned the attack for weeks and had a kill list. The 13-year-old was arrested following Wednesday morning's attack at the Vladislav Ribnica Primary School in central Belgrade. Another 6 pupils and a teacher were also injured in the shooting. The police said the motive for the attack is still being investigated. On the news this morning, you heard schools and business premises in River State are to open today after they were closed yesterday for state public holiday. President-elect Bola Tinubu is to continue project commissioning in River State. APC is yet to zone National Assembly leadership. Families of victims of election violence in River State have been speaking of neglect as they set burial dates. Federal government approved national blockchain policy for Nigeria. First batch of Nigerians fleeing conflict-torn Sudan finally arrive Abuja. On the foreign scene, police investigate the motive of the teenager behind the fatal Serbian school shooting. The news was edited by Chama Ezenwafo. Partly cloudy weather in Pataka this morning. Peace is the path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. I am Kala Dakuru Batbo. Good morning.